OC.
Says we're streaming. Let's play some tunes. Oh, I was too quick. I jumped the guy. Now we're starting. Boy, I look angry in that picture.
Like you're ready to debate some shit.
Fade Chris. Fade Charlie. White man overbite. All right. And there you have it.
Yes. And there I am.
So, it's episode 83. 83, man. Yeah, I agree. 83. So,
It's like,
104 will be 2 years. And we missed a handful.
Yes,
so
it will.
It'll be more than 2 years.
Mhm.
And it's May. It's May 2nd.
May 2. 5/2.
We're halfway to my birthday.
That's crazy.
Totally crazy. Do we need to keep saying our names? Yeah, I guess we do. I'm Chris.
I'm Charlie.
And this is
We're at 8.
a little change up.
This is 8-balling. I like that. Yeah, there you go. Cool.
And the 8 ball will be back.
8-balling as usual on a Sunday.
So I told Charlie, in terms of connection to, I got a live studio audience. Hi, Ricky. News, politics, general goings on, the rest of the world. I have been pretty much absent the last week. So, Charlie's running the show, man.
I am. But it's better that way, let's be honest. So,
Let's be honest. Right. I'm old. I've lost my creativity. And what are the two things?
I think it was creativity and innovation, which are kind of whatever tied.
No, it was something else. It was creativity and
Innovation
whatever.
and
Whatever.
doesn't matter. Just know that you're behind. You're missing a step.
I'm failing. How's that?
There's nothing you can do about it. So I actually pulled up something. Well, that's weird. I have a cut on my arm that I don't remember. Anyway, I was doing some gardening. So your favorite person. This will be a good one because you can get some steam off this. But
I have two favorite people.
your American favorite person, AOC. I think the second one's Greta, right?
I guess I have three favorite people.
Oh, okay. Okay, so one of the three, AOC.
Mika.
She is,
Mika is the other one.
Oh, yeah, Mika Brzezinski, she was bleeding from facial work done on her face. What the fuck was Donald's tweet?
Out
I
her
don't know, he was
ears?
tweeting about her.
Bleeding out.
She was bleeding from a facial. Yeah. Anyway, that was funny. Anyway, AOC was putting the NYPD on blast because they incorporated a robotic police dog in low-income areas, and she's saying this dog is racist. It must go. This robot is racist robot. The racist robot must go.
Wow.
Actually, I don't think she said it has to go, but
Was this on Instagram
Anyway.
or?
this is on Twitter. She tweeted it out. She said, this was a while ago. She said, robotic surveillance ground drones are being deployed for testing on low-income communities of color with under-resourced schools. Please ask yourself, when was the last time you saw next-generation, world-class technology for education, healthcare, housing, etc., consistently prioritized for underserved communities like this? Now, say what you will. That's kind of a fair point. But to me, I see police stuff. That's also, those kind of get rolled into the same category because you're still helping those communities. Like if that police dog helps you, get rid of some of the crime in the area, and those kids who are already underserved in their, wow. So I guess Ricky didn't like that. But
Hey!
I guess to me they're kind of the same thing. Like if the
Wait, say that
incorporating those
again?
police dogs.
You were a little bit
I
drowned
said
out.
if incorporating those police dogs helps little kids in that area go to school more safely, or cleans up the crime so that they have, instead of you're not getting recruited into a gang or whatever the case is, that's kind of a benefit. Sorry, not kind of a benefit. That's definitely a benefit. So she's saying we're putting the money in the wrong spot. Now, I don't know that necessarily you can just be like, oh, we're the NYPD. Let's write a check from the NYPD. This dog costs 75 grand, right? This police dog costs 75K.
Okay.
So I don't know if they can be like, let's write a check to the Bronx public school system. And then they're like, boom, now you have 75 grand. Like, I don't think it works like that. I'm pretty sure there's money in the coffers allocated towards certain things. But
Right.
I don't know if that's what she's saying or that's what she's asking. But to me,
Read it
this
again.
dog is
It was a mouthful what you read.
okay.
A little slower.
She says now robotic surveillance ground drones are being deployed for testing on low-income communities of color with under-resourced schools. Please ask yourself when the last time you saw next-generation, world-class technology for education, healthcare, housing, etc., consistently prioritized for underserved communities like this.
So it's the second half. It's totally tongue in cheek. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot there. There's a lot there. Yeah, I mean, first of all, like you said, it's police money. It's not education money. Second of all, how many cops does this replace? A third, a quarter, a full cop? 75 grand. How long does it last? 10 years? If you just do straight line math, that's $7,500 a year. That's a hell of a lot less than a cop costs. So, I mean, there's just turning it into a simple, this is egregious because we're taking 75 grand out of the pockets of underserved, underprivileged school systems is ridiculous.
To me, it's the idea that we have a robot that is a racist.
Well, what did she call it? A ground deployed drone or something like that?
Ground surveillance drone, yeah.
Ground surveillance drone. I mean, whatever. Kudos
And if she wants to,
that's a nice little twist
the
there.
usage of a what is it, a thesaurus? Yeah.
I mean, yeah, ground surveillance drone. You picture the dog with lots of guns and right.
And I don't know if you've seen this, but it's like I'll try to put this up there. Oh, sorry. But yeah, there it is. You can see that.
Yeah.
He's like a little robot dog, Boston
Yeah,
Dynamics.
exactly.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. This is it's nicknamed DigiDog. Anyway, I guess the updated valuation is at 94K, but that doesn't matter. And when she says, I like that she uses the term ground surveillance drone, because like when you call it that instead of robot dog, it's like, okay, let's talk about ground surveillance drones. The commissioner put out a thing that said they've been using these types of resources since 1970 to save cops' lives. Like, think about like bomb defusal drones, anything where there's a hazmat situation.
Well, yeah, like a remote control
hostage
car.
situations.
Yeah.
Yeah, so get the fuck out of here. Like, what the hell? Those are useful. It saves cops' lives, right? Or they're
So
meant to save cops' lives.
What does this dog do exactly? Or is it just that
they
it's
were using him specifically him? I just gendered it. Oh my god. They were
Oh,
using
my
it
little unconscious
specifically-
bias there, dude.
Wow, yeah. I just think of dogs. Dog's man's best friend. Oh, dog, man. I don't know. They were using it specifically for a hostage situation, wherein they entered a house to see if the intruder was still in the home or whatever, that person, hostage taker.
So they sent the dog in.
Yeah.
The ground drone.
The ground surveillance drone. Yeah. And it did what it was supposed to do. It was on the ground. It's surveilled, and it was, autonomously doing that, I guess.
Did it poop?
I don't think so. I think that's one of the benefits. Probably avoids. What if it just poops grenades? Drops it like explosives.
Just electrons are constantly coming out of the back of it.
Yeah, I don't get. Anyway,
It's just ones and
here's what's
zeros.
funny. Yeah, that's what it is. That's what I'm saying. It's servos and a bunch of fucking wiring and stuff, and it's not a racist. I don't know if it's has the ability to be racist, and if anyone made this dog racist, it's Boston Dynamics, because they made this thing.
Well, I mean, you could program it to be racist.
Well, I'm saying you can,
Right, you
but
could
I'm
say
saying
if
Boston
you have,
Dynamics
if there's two
surveys-
people, you know, and one of them has darker skin, pay attention to the darker skin, whatever resources the thing has to deploy.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying it's not the NYPD being racist. It's if the dog is racist, then it's Boston Dynamics who made it a racist dog. It's not the NYPD.
Well, I'm
But-
sure the NYPD played a large hand in how these things are programmed and how they
They're
function.
like, they're like, let's make it attack black people. And the guy's like, are you sure? That could be a little bit of, we might be stepping over a line there. And the police chief's like, no, this will trust me, it's better. So I don't see, because all you have to do essentially is if the racist dog is because it's racist because of where it's being deployed, don't get rid of the thing. Go have it
Have it do
deployed in
everything.
white areas. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
But no, they said
whatever.
it's a racist
You
dog
know, they're, the problem is we're getting, I want to say robbed, but that's not the right word. It's become inappropriate. It's become inappropriate to just talk about facts and data. Period. So where do you deploy these things? In places that have higher incidences of crime. In the United States, where are the areas that have higher incidences of crime?
Let's just say low income.
Low-income inner cities,
Yeah.
which are traditionally black. Now, and so that is what it is. And you could say, oh, by the way, that's a problem. And I thought about this. I might even, if you said, look, since there have been cities, since slavery ended, and a lot of slaves migrated north for jobs because the farming opportunities weren't there, and or they were seeking a better life. We've had concentrations of black people in cities, and it hasn't changed. And if you said that, and because I thought about this, and it's actually kind of fair in a certain context. The average black family median income, the median black income in America is just over 40 grand. The median black income for white people in America is just over 60 grand. And if you said, those seem to be like institutionally kind of fucked up, that's actually kind of fair to say. If you sit back and say, I don't do anything because institutional racism, and that's all there is to it, I'm going to push back on that. But if you were to say, in this country, there are problems and there are huge correlations to black people. And it goes both ways, right? Including crime and gang-ridden neighborhoods and, right, poor, crime, fraud, city areas, and so on and so forth. It is what it is. Do you agree?
Yes. Sorry, no. I see what you're saying. However, I come to the argument where like the women make 77 cents on the dollar in comparison to men. And from what I've read, I can find that if that's true, there are several reasons that causes that to be true. The largest reason being women choose to make less. They make choices that lead to them earning less than men on average, right? Like working, do I want to work the next 20 hours this week, or do I want to do 20 hours of spending time with my family, right? Shit like that. I don't think it's because whatever, like, my sister works for a pretty big company, and she's constantly talking about how she is crushing the other males in, similar positions to her because the people think, oh my God, the women don't make enough, so they're biased against men.
Is she
Because
being
they don't wanna-
rewarded
they don't
for
wanna
it?
be misconstrued. She's being, she doesn't get, what do you mean is she being rewarded for it?
Like, is her compensation commensurate with her performance?
I think that she thinks her comp is all I can say is unfair considering her male counterparts. When you
Really?
look at her male counterparts, yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Like she thinks she makes more. Now.
Oh, she thinks she makes more.
That's what I'm saying. It's because they probably don't want to be like, oh my God, we're paying men more. Oh, holy shit. So they pay her more. Yeah.
But she's a
Now-
rock star.
Let's say no. Let's say no, because I don't think she is.
But she thinks she is?
I don't think she thinks she is either, but I think she does.
Wait, I thought you said she was killing it compared to her male counterparts.
No. In terms of how much she's making, I don't think that she's crushing the game or like, dude, oh my God, she's
Oh.
the best person ever.
Got
I think
it.
she's making more money than them. Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
Interesting.
Yeah. Now, if you're gonna say that about black families and white families, I'd say, hey, what the fuck? Like, is it because black people are getting screwed over because they don't want to make more money, or is it because there's racism in America and they don't get hired? Like,
yeah. So I
very
would say it's very complex. I would say there are problems, right? I mean, just think if you're born in a totally crime fraught, totally gang overrun city neighborhood, and to, let's say, a single mom who is maybe, dabbles in drugs and wasn't raised to value education and really has nothing to offer her kid, that kid's pretty well screwed. Right? And even if that kid were able to bootstrap it, and, it's my understanding, both anecdotally and well, totally anecdotally, but secondhand and firsthand and thirdhand, that if it's found out that you study and you want to go to college and be, successful, air quotes, that people are going to fuck with you and try to make that not happen. Steal your books, destroy your books, hassle you to and from school, those sorts of things. That makes it tough. Does it make it racist? No. But I mean, that it would be fair to say that it's a problem where, there's, right there, who do you blame? There's not equality of opportunity there. And is it even necessary to blame? No, but there's a problem that probably should be fixed. But like you said, it's totally complicated. Now, there's where somebody would say institutional racism. No, it's just a very complicated problem.
So what if you had a digi-dog or a robot dog to help walk those kids to school? That's kind of my point. It's like, that's kind of a good thing. I don't know. If that kid can't go to school, that's a little bit helpful.
Till the wealthy gang gets his hands on a grenade launcher. Takes care of the dog.
Okay. Well, that's... I'll hold my breath. I'm not going to hold my breath for that one. That is unlikely to happen. And if you have a fucking grenade launcher and they're hassling the kid, like, come on, pick on somebody your own size. I don't know. My point is just that, to bring it full circle, I don't see that it's racist or a bad thing.
No,
Because,
implementing
like-
tools to solve problems that's objective, yeah, it's kind of impossible to be racist.
Well, it's
Right?
like AOC.
By-
To me, it's like saying that AOC is racist because this dog exists in an area that's low income and whatever. Let's call it 90% black. I don't know if it is, but let's pretend that it is 90% black. It's like not only is it the dog is going to be stopping crimes that are pretty much 100% black perps, but like you're saying the cop is or the dog is just going to be there to hassle everybody in the community. And it's like not everyone in the fucking community is a criminal. Like some of those people want to go to school and go to college and the dog helps
Most.
them, you know? Yes, sorry, most of them. Yeah, and it was for the metaphor. I wasn't saying.
Yeah, no, I don't no. I
Yeah.
just
So she's saying like, and I'm just realizing this now. This is fucking Amazon Prime, Amazon thing all over again. When she got the Amazon, she tanked the Amazon deal. Like, this is a good thing. It's like can help people, and you're
So-
like, we don't fucking need that. And you're like, okay, well, fuck you, bye.
so for politicians, legislators, whatever. AOC's a politician. Like AOC, her biggest job for her is to create the illusion of value of herself.
Yes,
She has to do that. Absolutely has to do that. That every politician needs for their constituents and everybody in general, because that's what their constituents see, to value, right, the people who are in office so they get voted back. I guarantee it, AOC is loving this gig. Best gig she's ever had and does not ever want to lose it. So, what'd she do?
She says that robot dog is racist, and then 2 years from now she goes, remember when I got rid of that racist robot dog? I'm the person that you need representing you.
There you
Yes,
go.
I see that. But it's like shitty to me that this person will never be, well, I'm assuming, knock on wood, she'll never be, they'll never get their comeuppance when it's like, this is all the bad things that she did, fucking over the black community, you know? Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's calling everyone in that community a criminal, which is racist. Like if that's to me that's fucked up.
Yeah, that's a good point for sure. Yes, yes. There's definitely a fair position to be held, an argument to be made that Democrats aren't really helping anybody.
No,
They're
one.
just hand waving and doing shit to collect votes
You know who Democrats help?
themselves.
I was just about to say they help other Democrats sleep at night. That's it. And it's like they just all they care about is like, oh my god, I feel like I'm doing what was it, the Nancy Pelosi thing? I feed them.
I feed
That's what
them.
it is.
I feed
That's what it
them.
is.
You know,
Take my crumbs. That's what it is.
it's too bad because intellectually she's competent. I don't know why, but I was curious how much Rachel Maddow makes. How much do you think Rachel Maddow makes?
$24 million a year.
No, 7.
It's 7. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, I mean, that's
'Cause
her
I was just thinking
salary.
about that because Tucker makes 6. Yeah, I was just thinking they should have cut that down. Bill O'Reilly was making like 40, right? I don't know.
Really? For salary? Well, she might be making money
was.
doing other things,
Yeah.
but her salary for her show is $7 million a year.
Yeah,
You know, and she and Mika, who makes $8 million a year, and her husband makes $8 million a year. So household income of 16 million. Not hard to get there. You know, they're howling at the moon about rich people having too much money and not paying enough taxes. I doubt that Joe and Mika buy H&R Black Tax Pro for $50 and prepare their own taxes every year. I bet they have a really, really, really good, you know, tax accountant and or tax attorney making sure they keep every fucking dollar they can.
Yeah.
I'm sure Rachel Maddow does the same thing.
A free tax service this year. I got a lot.
So, yeah, but they have, you know, I'm sure they have more complicated taxes with more opportunities to, you know, fill forms and pay less.
You're being pretty generous with that. You're being far too generous and forgiving of them. I'm saying, why don't they take 15 million bucks of their fucking income and donate it to the Bronx School District?
Well, yeah, there's that
go
too,
a
for sure.
Fucking long way. Yeah.
Well, that's why I'm saying, yeah. I mean, who's the British podcaster? Fucking Russell.
Brand.
Yeah, Russell Brand. About a year ago, he was bitching about Jeff Bezos. He has too much fucking money. I'm not doing a good English accent. He has too much fucking money. Let's give him $10 million a year. That's enough. $10 million a year. Well, who the fuck are you? Right?
Yes,
Some
that's the
arbitrary
point.
number.
I'm not saying. When I say that, I want to make this clear. Jeez, I'm walking over my words. I'm like talking way too fast. I'm not saying they should only make $1 million a year. They should make as much as they're contracted to make. It's negotiation. But
No. Yeah, no, I wasn't
the
suggesting that at all.
Yeah, the absurdity is that what Russell Brand is suggesting is that he should just make $10 million and bam, it's an arbitrary number.
Right. So I'm
you.
taking Russell Brand and his fucking convoluted bullshit, and let's take the
Marxist
transitive
approach.
property and throw it at, you know, Rachel and Mika and Joe.
No, throw it at him. Put it at Russell Brand.
Well, yeah, he's worth $20 million. So who needs to be worth $20 million? Right?
Yeah.
If you make 5% off your investments, if he had $5 million, he gets 250 grand a year. That's enough to live off of. Or let's put him at 400, a 1%er, which they're the bad people. So what's 400 divided by, what's he need? Is that $2 million a year? No, so he needs $4 million. So give away $16 million, dude, and you're still a 1%er. You're still in the egregious $400,000 a year contemptible fucks, you know, who make too much money group. But all these people.
My dad was a man. He has
Right?
that weird.
So no, you got a good point. So hey, Mika, shut the fuck up and give a bunch of money away.
And I'm sure that they do donate some, but I don't think it's millions of dollars.
Not enough to
Otherwise,
brag
there'd be
about.
Fucking articles about it. Yeah.
Because they would be.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, that's what I'm saying. There'd be articles about it. They'd be whatever. Now, I'm just saying this, not because that I'm the guy who's going to donate when I'm making 16 million bucks here. I'm not going to be donating 15 of it, but because I'm also not the one bitching about all this shit, right? So, what was it, the J.K. Rowling story? You remember this when she was talking about how America's like fucked up and we need to let everybody in, and then people were like, "How about you fucking your house is giant?" Like someone pulled up an article about her mansion that she bought, and it was like, "How about you let immigrants stay in the 52 rooms, spare bedrooms that you got?" And she shut her mouth pretty quick. That needs to happen more often. I think it would make people think. I don't even necessarily want her to have 50 immigrants staying in her gigantic house, but I want you to at least be aware of it. And I tell people that all the time on this show. I was at a bachelor party, and a bunch of my fraternity brothers were saying, "Geez, it makes me think about stuff." And I'm like, I don't want to change your mind necessarily,
Don't think.
but at least if you
Don't think.
whoa, don't think. Just do what I'm saying. But at least if you like are like, wow, maybe this isn't as straightforward as I thought. That's a job well done. I can pat myself on the back. But you're never gonna get anybody to hold these people accountable or make them, discuss their choices.
Yeah. Not to revisit it in too much detail, but if you remember, a while ago, probably over a year ago, we did a show on borders, right?
Yeah.
So a border at the country, a border at the state, a border at the county, a border at the city, a border at your neighborhood, a border at your front fucking door. So if you lock your door and your food is yours, you're not giving handouts, and to your point, you're not letting 104 people stay in your 52 rooms or whatever, then you believe in borders, and shut up. Right? If you have extra rooms, resources, money, food, and you're not giving it away, then shut the fuck up. If your bank account's not wide open, that's a border. Hey, give me your login and your password. I'm going to wire myself some of your money. I'm not doing that. Well, you believe in open borders.
Why do you have a border on your bank account? Oh my God, that's beautiful. That would make people really think. What do you mean a border on my bank account? What do you mean? It's not like everyone can't just take it? What the fuck? Yeah.
Right.
That's beautiful. Shit like that, average American will never come across something like that in their lifetime, which is kind of sad. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
But that
like
American
that calls it a Rubik's Cube.
But that American also probably supports border enforcement because they know that
sure.
whether it's as a matter of principle or they understand that, you know, for every illegal immigrant that comes in, it fucks up our economy in terms of jobs. It takes away jobs, it lowers them in number, and it drives down wages, period.
Well, it hurts black people like the most, right?
Well, it hurts poor people. And if you do the math via correlation, yes, it disproportionately hurts black people. Yep, for sure.
And then, you know, you're never seeing the guy who's, whatever, I don't know what you call it. The guy who's picking oranges, the farmhand. He's never being like, let's open up the borders because I don't like my fucking job. I don't like putting food on the table.
Well, that guy's illegal.
In El Paso.
Migrant farm workers are all illegals.
Illegal, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yes, yeah. You know, it's funny as my metaphor doesn't even make sense because that guy is already a fucking illegal immigrant. But yeah.
Right.
Drives wages.
Yeah, I mean, you know what's amazing is like a banana, at least before Biden took office, it was like 29 cents or something. That's crazy. You know, an orange is like, I don't know, all, you know, oranges, apples, just, you know, typical fruit is around 50 cents a pop. That's amazingly cheap. Amazingly cheap. And part of it is because the labor that gets it to you and me is unbelievably cheap. And would I pay 60 or 70 cents for an orange if it were, you know, picked by a U.S. citizen who had to make more, had to be treated better all day long? All day long.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll pay that tax for sure.
Well, I'll avoid going down this rabbit hole because I want to talk about something else, which is kind of a different tangent, but tangerine-ant, because we're talking about fruit. But there should be no fucking minimum wage law in America. There shouldn't be. Because this is totally, not totally, it's kind of unrelated to what we're talking about, but without a minimum wage law, what you're doing is you're allowing McDonald's to hire people at $5 an hour who are worth $5 an hour. Because right now, those people are worth $5 an hour, and the government says you have to pay them $13. They're not getting hired in any situation. Now, you can't convince me that everyone is worth at least $10 an hour. No, I'm not going to buy that argument. But there should be no minimum wage law. That's my point.
I haven't thought that one totally through.
You're gonna.
I mean, in a way, you could say there is no minimum wage law because this country, a huge portion of this country embraces illegal immigrants who don't get paid shit and who live in squalor. So if they're part of our system, you know, and they're getting paid dollars a day and living in, I saw a thing on orange juice. Somebody did, it was very activist-ish, and it was like, this is why you should never buy concentrated orange juice. And it was because how horribly they treated these people. Well, it's not just the, you know, orange juice guys. It's our failure to enforce immigration, secure the borders, and on and on. Anyway.
Well, also enforce the fucking minimum wage laws, because there's people, well, just because they're not American workers, isn't it on the American employers too to employ people at that wage? So
yeah, but there's nothing on the books. It's all cash.
Yeah,
it's
so
all, and it's all wing,
then
nod,
audit.
nod.
Do an audit. Go, I don't care if you want. You know, if you're.
I don't know how this works where they get away with it, because it's not a secret. You know, it's not
That's
like.
what I'm saying. Is like, go. You know who's doing it. Go fucking do it. Go be like, all right, you're outie. It's California, right? Got to be. All those places where all those big farms are.
It's all over the West and the South, Florida, Georgia, Alabama. You know, where they grow all kinds of shit.
Florida Georgia Line. Yeah. Anyway, you mentioned bananas. Sorry, this is totally a tangent, but
bananas, BANANAS. I know how the
about
back
40
girl.
minutes in, so I think it's time for a subject change.
Okay. Did you catch
know
my
that
little?
people? Yeah, I did. I was doing.
You weren't amused.
by not commenting on it.
Thank you. Thanks for the diss.
Neil deGrasse Tyson. Anyway, Neil Tyson, who I think you don't find, he's not your favorite guy, pointed something out, which is
He's an
kind of
idiot. He's a fucking idiot.
He's a marketing guy, whatever. That's
He
at
is.
the end of the day.
He is.
Yeah.
But the fact that he has a PhD is bewilders me. When he doesn't know that pi r squared is why when you double the diameter of a basketball hoop, you quadruple its area. When he can't do that math instantaneously, and I can, and my math,
he was just talking about doubling the diameter, though.
Yeah, but he couldn't explain to Joe Rogan why it quadrupled the area.
Oh, well, okay.
He couldn't say it's an exponential relationship. It's pi r squared.
But that Rogan was
They both said, well, it's because when you increase the size of anything, you increase the number of places that a ball can go through the hoop by infinity. That happens to be true, but it doesn't explain the relationship. And that's how he explained the relationship. And I'm like, dude, you're not smart at all. It's fucking pi r squared. I could have answered that question in 9th grade. After 9th grade geometry, I would have answered that question.
I wouldn't have got that one.
But, so I'm like, this guy has a fucking PhD in science? Anyway.
Fair enough. He's in
Sorry.
STEM, and he doesn't know pi r squared. It's okay. He made a point about bananas and about
BANANAS?
Correct. That's how you spell it. Yes.
Okay.
A second grade education. That a banana and a human being have DNA in common. Think about that. So, if there were ever to be aliens, and he was talking about, and this is totally unrelated to what we were talking about, I'm totally switching tracks. I don't want people to be confused, like, did I miss something? He was talking about how aliens in movies, it's just because I saw a news article today about the alien movie, but he's like, aliens in movies are portrayed a certain way, and they're always, like, humanoid. What?
Yeah. What alien
And
movie?
he's like, it was just an old article about Ridley Scott and his.
Oh.
They're debating whether or not to make a sequel to the movie Covenant, which was the latest Alien movie.
Got it.
And
Anyway,
he said,
sorry.
aliens in movies are portrayed as always like slightly humanoid, and he's like, a human being and a banana have DNA in common. Why? You have to think of something as different, at least if not more different, at least as different as a human is from a banana, as this human is going to be from this fictional alien. Because theoretically or hypothetically, we're assuming this alien probably has no DNA in common with a human being. So the DNA in a banana is at least as similar to that of a person. Does that
He's
make
a
sense?
physicist,
Sorry.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
I think that that's actually a bad argument from a physicist, because
Interesting.
I think that physicists believe they have a decent grasp on the matter that exists. So to suggest that, and I could be wrong, this is going back a long time, that to suggest that we don't, if there's a certain finite set of matter, then there's going to be finite strands of DNA, and that would kind of blow up that statement. I don't know.
There's an argument on carbon-based versus silicon-based life forms. Yeah. So,
Okay, so all right, whatever.
Yeah. So like the argument is that it could maybe silicon-based life forms do exist. We just haven't seen that yet. It's just because carbon is the most abundant thing, right?
All right, fair enough, right?
Sorry.
Infinity
So,
exists,
his
so who
point-
the fuck knows what they might look like? They could be huge, they could be
Exactly.
tiny. Fuck. They could be,
His-
who knows?
It could be a fart. It could be gaseous. Who knows?
They could be.
That was also a Joe Rogan thing. But his favorite alien is the Blob, because it's like, what the fuck is that? It's just like an amorphous blob, literally, and it eats people.
Sorry,
What the hell is that?
that's my phone. At least it's
Anyway, I
not
thought
Seal
that would
Sparky.
give us some time, but
Well, a blob would be a very convenient form to be, because you could morph all over the
No.
place.
well, we'll see. The thing about, I've never seen the movie The Blob, but any picture, I've never seen it like make a hand.
I was thinking
not
more.
like-
Okay, I was thinking more in terms of like Terminator 2 or 3 or whatever, where that guy was
the
like,
liquid metal.
yeah,
Yeah, that would make sense. But I've never seen the Blob. I never saw the Blob in any footage of it being like, like, oh, I have a machine gun now, and he's like operating, a fully automatic machine gun or something like that. And how do you fly a spaceship if you're a Blob? Is it all just like electronic pulses? You just like sit on a pad that's
Could be.
conductive, and you just
yeah. You just think, and electrons go activate shit, and off you go.
True. Yeah.
Blob sex would be pretty boring,
Crazy.
I think.
Oh,
What do I know?
pretty boring. Yeah. Or
The
you could make it if you
orgasmatron.
wanted. Anyway, yeah, I thought
You
that
made
would
me
give us-
think of
that would
something.
grow some- Oh,
Alien life forms. I lost my thought. Shoot.
oh. I don't want to distract you.
Somebody else was talking about it on a podcast that was smart. I forget. Might have been Lex Friedman and Eric Weinstein. I don't remember. What do you got?
This is kind of cool. There was years ago. This is 2004. There was footage from an F-18, a Raptor, I think. Sorry, Chris muted himself. That sounds funny. Footage from an F-18 or a Super Hornet. That's what it is. This is kind of has to do with aliens, but so this is 15 years old, or 17 years old, of like a spaceship doing, or an object, I'll call it, doing like crazy or impossible physics, impossible feats of aerodynamics and shit like that. And the Pentagon just came out like a couple weeks ago and was like, hey, this is real undoctored footage. That's all they said. Now, what does that mean to me? I don't know, but I thought that's kind of cool. They're like admitting that they don't know what it is.
Yeah, I think
Sorry,
they
we're lying.
thought for a really long time that people wouldn't be able to handle information like that. And I think they realized that people can. People are interested. People will actually
Yeah.
eat that shit up. Not
Like,
that they
"Ooh,
wouldn't
wow,
before,
cool."
but I think they thought they needed to like War of the Worlds. People would lose their minds and go crazy. And,
my god. Yeah.
yeah. I know what I wanted to say. So there was an ad before you were born, for like Splenda or Equal or one of the, at that time, new sugar-free sweeteners. And there were chunks of banana in a bowl, and they took a picture and they poured milk over the bananas, and they said, there's nothing in our sweetener that isn't in this bowl of milk and bananas. And the first thing that ran through my mind is, yeah, and there's also nothing else that's in there that's not in a fucking nuclear cruise missile, right?
Wait, wait, back up. There's nothing else in there that's not in a nuclear cruise missile?
Yeah,
How do you
there's
mean,
like
in the bowl
iron
of-
and molybdenum
Oh,
and, you know,
yeah.
there's not uranium. So maybe just an, maybe just an FA-18 Hornet, but whatever. I'm like,
Yeah, sure. Okay.
you know,
Yeah, yes,
if you go,
refined plutonium, right?
right. I'm like, there's
That's a
fucking,
good point.
how many elements are in there that you can make anything?
Yeah. I want to, you know what we should do that is make, but maybe that's probably why they don't have commercials like that anymore, but we should take some bananas. Well, potassium is in bananas, right? And that's explosive in high quantities.
I think you're thinking of magnesium. Burns really fast, really hot.
Well, no, magnesium, that's like thermite type shit. But potassium also, when it's metal in metal solid form, when exposed to water, has an explosive reaction, I think.
Well, everything burns.
Wrong.
Everything has a flashpoint.
But it's like
So-
an explosive, not a
Okay.
not a burn. Yeah, burning.
I did not know that.
I don't know. Could be wrong. Could be wrong. I don't know.
Oh, you made me
But
think of
maybe
something
that's why I
else.
like bananas so much.
You made me think of something else that was funny, and I lost it. Damn.
Navin R. Johnson, typical bastard,
Die. Run-of-the-mill son of a bitch.
male son of a bitch. Yeah.
It was another ad kind of thing. Oh, well.
Was it for Anacin,
No, I don't remember.
which is just caffeine and Advil mixed together? It's
Okay.
just the old timey commercials of like the husband at home, like coming home from work, being like, "Oh, my fucking head hurts," and his wife is preparing some 5-course elegant meal. And she goes, "Hey, honey, you know, make sure you get ready. We have a PTA meeting tonight." And he's like, "You fucking bitch! Why are you? I just got home from work and I had a crazy day." It's like, oh my god, whoa. And then you think about old timey commercials. It's like, wow, that was probably the norm, you know.
Old time
Like
shows.
Aniston.
Did you ever see Leave It to Beaver?
yeah. No.
You've not seen one episode of Leave It to Beaver? I mean, June Cleaver was, you know, the prototypical or stereotypical, whichever's more fair, housewife. And her job was to, you know, run the home. And every day she was in a dress and, you know, made up perfectly and just, you know, more or less the subservient to her husband and managing the children. And here, you know what? So that it is what it is. It was the times. Here's something though that I think about when women say, just like flat out, women have never ever gotten credit for anything. You know, for a very, very long time, many, perhaps most men, I don't know, have loved saying, and the saying behind every good man is a good woman. Definitely, you know, saying I couldn't have done this alone, whatever it may be,
What about-
and whatever role the
about
woman
shit
may
men?
have played. And then if you go back to the frontier, you know, like when a man and a woman, like, you know, the land grant of 18, whatever the fuck it was. And, you know, people staked claim and built a log cabin and raised a family. Women worked their fucking ass off just like men. So men were out in the field, you know, and then, you know, bringing home agricultural stuff and, you know, meat and whatever. And then women had to do all the heavy lifting, figuratively and literally, in the home, you know, throwing wood in the fire, keeping the place, running, raising the kids, fucking, the death in childbirth, just everything. Women worked their ass off. And I don't think anybody ever tried to rob them of credit of that. But you wouldn't know that.
Well, not today. Hell no. And you're making me think of something that I did recently that my girlfriend sent to me. Sarah, she sent me a thing. It was like, and it's so damn funny. We joke about it all the time. But it was like what kind of a sexist are you? Or how sexist are you? Or something like that. And it was like a political test quiz almost. It was like 10 questions or 20 questions. And it was like 10 of them this way, 10 of them that way. And depending on how you answered them, it would tell you what your sexism proclivities were. And hers and mine were completely opposite, but neither of them were not sexist. So her test, her result was that she thinks that women are stupid and incapable and whatever. I think it was
Wow.
she's like, and I'm exaggerating. I'm just using that for emphasis. But
Yeah.
it was like women are less capable than men. That was the kind of sexist that she is. Whereas my sexism was that I think women are more fragile than men and need to be taken care of, and I shouldn't have to work and yada yada. Like that was what my side of the test kind of ruled out. Like it was like, oh my gosh, women are, they have babies and they take care of babies and whatever. And to your point, it's kind of like there wasn't even an option for us to pick that frontier woman thing. It was like, if you take this quiz, you're a sexist.
Oh.
What kind of a sexist are you? Which was funny to me because it was like there was no winning.
Here's a
You
good
had to
one.
be. So I was like,
No, go ahead.
oh no, that was it. I was like 40% women are fragile sexist, and she was like 70% women are stupid sexist, which I thought was funny.
So I was talking to this girl on Match on the phone.
Yeah.
Like literally talking. Not talking. And
Nice. Oh, yeah.
I brought up to her, I said, have you seen the YouTube video where there's a bunch of kids and they range from, wealthy, rich kids to inner city impoverished kids? And it was like, if you have always had a cell phone, take a step forward. If you've never wondered where your next meal is going to come from, take a step forward. If you had two parents in the home and they encouraged you to do well in school, take a step forward. And it was all these things, take a step forward. And so there were a lot of kids, there was a quite a varied range of kids who, many of whom were very close to the start line, many of whom were halfway to the finish line. And they're like, so if you think that, everybody has a fair shake, think of something else. And she said, yeah, I love that video. And I said, I fucking hate that video. And she's like, why? And like immediately like, you're evil. What's wrong with you? And I said, why? Because here's the questions it didn't ask. If you were disruptive in your class and you made it hard for your teacher to do their job, take a step back. If you didn't take school seriously and never prepared for tests and or never or rarely handed in assignments on time and or to the best of your ability, take a step back.
If you've ever started a fist fight, if you've ever
In school.
Oh my God, that's like the smallest bird.
Take
I've
a
ever
step
seen.
back.
Sorry.
So it didn't ask, right? If you totally didn't value school, you know what? Go home because you didn't even participate in the race. It didn't ask any
Take a
of those
step back.
questions, which are important questions. And it kind of gets back to my point where, if nobody said to you, go to school, fucking study, do all this shit, or when you're 20 years old, you're screwed. That's another conversation. But in terms of this whole starting line, and if you were handled as a, child and adolescent in a way that you did everything right, then obviously you're going to go forward. But by the same token, if you did all kinds of things wrong, you need to account for those things. There's so much more to every fucking story that just doesn't get addressed. and I forget what
Even the having a cell
oh, the
phone
test.
thing.
So your test. So it sounds like your test was not really objective and or complete.
No, it was very much not that. Yeah. But it was funny to me and funny to her because it was like, first of all, she was like, obviously her being the girl in the relationship, she was like, women are dumb. I'm like, Jesus, Eric, God, you gotta be less sexist. You know, as a woman, you're so sexist, which we joke about. But then it was like, there's no option here for you to be not a sexist. It's just like it
Right.
goes off of the assumption that everybody has these prejudices,
Predispositions, yeah, to whatever.
And I don't necessarily know that me thinking that women are more fragile than men is necessarily sexist as much as it is factual. But whatever.
Well, from a certain perspective, it could be viewed as nice and endearing. It just depends. It could be somebody could say you're a total fucking misogynist, or they could say you're like a protector guy. I don't know if we've ever talked about that, but there is like a protector gene.
Yeah.
And you've got that gene, and it's real. And physically, women are more fragile, right? How many Ronda Rouseys are out there? Not a lot.
One.
Yeah, true. That's a good point.
Yeah, literally one. Yes. Yeah.
But I mean, touche, right? But you know my point.
Yes.
So
Well, yeah. Let's say 7. Yeah.
However many, the ratio is, men are built to, in terms of the human race, men are built to fight. Women are built to reproduce.
There was a study.
That's what it is.
Wait, there was a study that I think I sent you analyzing the bone structure of prehistoric, anatomically modern humans from 200,000 years ago, being like, wow, the males were developed for upper body strength because of like punching or some shit. It was like something weird like that. And it was like the upper body strength, like we're fucking stronger and we have been forever because we do that more than, I don't know. It was.
Well, and it's other things, and you lift, you hunt, you run, right? That's what traditionally men did, and we evolved, to your point, into being that part of our race.
Yeah, and it's a selective adaptation. It's not, people often misconstrue what evolution is, but yeah, it's you pre-select for increased upper body strength. You don't like adapt to it. Anyway, there's a great thing, and I think we should end the show on this, but because we're coming up on an hour. But talking about the fragile sexism versus stupidity sexism, Gavin McInnes talked about when is it okay to punch a woman when she's punching you. So you're in a fight with a woman, and she's hitting you. When is it okay for you to hit her back? Or is it okay for you to hit her back? He said the number that they go off of is 12 punches. If she punches you 12 times, you can hit her 1 time.
I wonder how he got there. My answer in my head was going to be when you are convinced that you're in danger. Right? If you're getting hit and it's not doing anything to you, that's one thing. If you're getting beat up and you're literally approaching, like, if this keeps happening, I'm going to pass out, I could die kind of thing, then you should defend yourself.
Let's say she's punching you towards the edge of a cliff and you're going to fall off the cliff if you don't hit her back. But the minute you are losing ground and you realize there's a cliff behind you, you fucking punch back. So here's what he said was his thing was kind of, his number 12 punches was kind of secondary to his point, but he would say, hey, I've talked to conservatives and I've talked to feminists, and obviously here's where the kind of the fun part of this discussion is that there's conservatives who'd say, oh my God, it's never okay to hit a woman back, right? And then you talk to feminists where it'd say 12 punches, it's 1-to-1, like we're just as tough as men are, And so you end up with this interesting kind of microcosm of society that you have that, I don't know, you have that difference in thought. And I think that's so interesting, and I love that kind of side of debate. I don't love punching women. I'd probably err more towards what you're saying, which is when you're in danger, because I could take punches all day long, but you get the differences, and you never get anywhere unless you talk about stuff, which I think is why we exist, right?
Yeah, and why we do this show. So on that, we need an 8-ball question.
I think you asked it last time, or maybe
Okay.
I don't know.
I like the topic we're on for the 8-ball question.
How about I ask it this? We'll leave it ambiguous. 8-ball, is it ever okay to punch a woman if she's punching you? How's that? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's a good question.
That's kind of leaving it ambiguous. Okay, so is it ever okay for a man to punch a woman back if she's punching him?
It's not totally ambiguous. Just a bit.
As I see it, yes. So the 8-ball is a little bit more feminist than.
I like the
what
answer, though. It's not,
Yeah,
it's
as I see it.
decidedly so. I like it.
Right.
As I see it, yes.
Yeah. As I see it.
Once
So they
again,
kinda
the
actually did a
8-ball.
little spin thing.
The 8-ball is not only wise, but tactful,
Yeah, and it believes in equality apparently. So
apparently.
that's that's where we are.
You ready for some tunes?
Hell yeah, lay it up.
It's 80 degrees outside.
80.
Maybe we should fire up the barbecue. All right, man. Good episode. Say goodbye, Charlie.
Bye.
Say goodbye, Chris. Bye-bye.
Bye, Chris.
Bye. And I'm gone. Later, people. Thanks for watching. I'll 10 of you.